Hey everybody, welcome back to the Record View. I listened to 48 albums in the month of November in the past 30 days, so I wanted to take this video to break it down and my thoughts on each and every single one of them I listened to. Starting off on November 1st, I listened to Florence and the Machine's Everybody Scream. I thought it was a really good album. It was definitely her most mature lyrically and vocally, in my opinion, she's ever released. And if you remember, I just released a review on the channel about it, talking about just how profound it was for me personally. Moving on from there, I listened to the entire album of Count Your Blessings for a reaction video I was recommended to me, where I reacted to the song Off the Heeze, I believe is the outro song from the album. The rest of the album blew me away with its super good deathcore sounds. Next up on November 2nd, I listened to Ray Barretto's Reconstruction. It was one of the highest rated albums of all time on Rate Your Music for a little project I'm working on, where I'm listening to every single album from the Rate Your Music Top 1000 albums of all time. And it's not really my thing, but I still had a lot of respect for a lot of the musical sounds it was going for. Moving on, I listened to Bad Bunny for the first time after I was going over some of the Grammy predictions and seeing him nominated. Again, it's not really my thing. I don't listen to that kind of music often, but I can respect him as an artist even still. Next up, Meshuggah's Chaosphere. This was an incredible album. I love how technical it was. A lot of the polyrhythms blew me away. A lot of the drum work specifically. It's some of the best in metal history. Unwound, Fake Train. This is a controversial one. I'm not a big fan of Unwound. I don't really like their style of post-hardcore. Or I don't really go to post-hardcore much in general, to be honest. Although, again, I can respect them for what they do. I just found this one a little bit musically uninteresting at a lot of points. Next up, Tim Hecker's Radio Amor. Despite what seems like a low rating, I enjoyed this one. There wasn't anything too special about it. It was just a pleasant listening experience from start to end. Next up, Duke Ellington with Money Jungle. I had the same thoughts on this one as I did to the last one, Radio Amor. It was a nice listen from start to end, but I couldn't really recall any part of it if I tried to a month later. This is a surprising one I didn't expect to like. Low Files by Bring Me the Horizon. This is a remix album of some of the band's biggest hits, where they take the more metal adjacent sound and turn it into a super lo-fi sounding sound, something like a lo-fi beats to study to kind of thing, and it works surprisingly well. The more chilled out versions of some of these songs actually really work well for that exact vibe. Next up, I listened to Baby Metal for the first time, and I have mixed thoughts. There was a lot of great songs on it, like the Poppy song From Me to You, as well as the final song of the album, White Flame, which had some really good metal instrumentals. Although there was also some very underwhelming songs, like the song featuring Slaughter to Prevail, as well as the Tom Morello song. I expected that one to be a lot better as a Tom Morello fan myself. But moving on, two super good metal albums I listened to back to back. In Flames, my first time listening to them after missing them when they came to Louder Than Life. Clayman. It was one of the best feats in melodic death metal I've ever heard. It really blew me away. Every single song was amazing. I even listened to the deluxe of it and it just kept holding on strong. I believe this is the album that finally solidified my entire listening journey through Trivium, from their first album to their newest. I like this one a lot. I think a lot of the more pop-esque melodies actually work for this album. Strife is one of my favorite Trivium songs ever, and a lot of other songs on it were really impressive, like instrumentally with really good guitar solos. The whole band just sounded honed in on this one, even if it wasn't too ambitious. Okay, next up, I listened to the Thelonious Monk Quartet's Monk's Dream. This one was also for my Rate Your Music Top 1000 project I'm working on. Despite the lower rating, that's just because, again, I didn't find much to return to, but then again, jazz isn't really my thing. I did like how unconventional a lot of the rhythms were on the album, though. Next up, Suffocation, Effigy of the Forgotten. This is one of the best death metal albums I've heard in recent memory. So much of it blew me away. Normally death metal kind of just goes in one ear and out the other for me, but this one made me like stop and like really listen to a lot of the melodies, especially the guitar solos, which brilliant stuff. Right around here, November 7th, we had that new Music Friday. I listened to Rosalia's new album, Lux, which is incredible. It got so much critical acclaim right off the bat, and I'm so happy for her to see that. I wasn't a big fan of Rosalia until this album, but a lot of songs on here cemented it for me. I'm still not the biggest fan of the sound, but the production especially really sets this for me. There was one song, Brigade. That's one of my favorite songs of the year, honestly. Next up, we have Danny Brown's Stardust. I really like this one as well for a new music release. I actually think it's one of his better albums. I like a lot of the production choices on here, taking influence from hyperpop, as well as featuring a lot of hyperpop artists like Femtonal, Underscores, and some other like non-traditional rap artists like Quedeca or Jane Remover. It was a really good album. I like how ambitious and different he went on that one. And again, Copycats, another one of my favorite songs of this year so far. Next up, in light of the unfortunate passing of the R&B legend D'Angelo, I re-listened to and gave a rating to Brown Sugar, which it's an incredible album with some of the best vocal melodies in R&B history. The title track from the album is also one of the best R&B songs in music history. Moving on, we have Entombed with Left Hand Path. I really like the guitar tone on this album, and it was really well produced. Moving on, we have Crimson by Edge of Sanity. This was a really interesting listen where they merged death metal with progressive metal to build around the title track, the 40-minute song Crimson, through a bunch of different parts. I love how it constantly switched up, adding on different styles, acoustic guitars, heavy death metal parts, breakdowns. All of it sounded really good. It was one of the coolest listens I've had in recent times. Moving on to Wayne Shorter's Juju. Again, jazz isn't really for me, although it was a nice listen. I just didn't see anything too out there for it. Next up, Stars of the Lid, the tired sounds of Stars of the Lid. The 5 out of 10 kind of speaks for itself, and with the album title, The Tired Sounds, I kind of just thought it was whatever. It's minimalism. If that's what you're looking for, it's a great album for that field. It's just not something that sparks my attention as someone who's looking for musical punchiness, I could say. Okay, Rush, Permanent Waves. This was a really good prog rock album in prog rock history. I can't believe I've never got around to it. The Spirit of Radio is one of the best rock songs of all time, pretty safely, and the rest of the album holds its own. Still not coming close to The Spirit of Radio, but holds its own better than I thought it would. I listened to Something Else by the Kinks. What I noticed listening to this was a lot of the writing is very outdated. It's not lyrically profound, kind of whatsoever, but for what it tries to do, it does it well, and it's hugely held up by the 10 out of 10 song Waterloo Sunset. It's one of the best songs of all of the 60s. I listened to The End of Heartache by Killswitch Engage. This is one of the most impressive metal albums of all time. The vocals are some of the best out there, and I love every single bit about it. I love how impactful each song is. I like the way it progresses each song with these hugely powerful intros into some super beautiful melodic vocal sections, into the headbang inducing breakdowns each song has to offer. Really good stuff here. It's some of the best metalcore you'll ever find. And speaking of metalcore, back when they were more of a deathcore band, we have Bring Me the Horizon. I listened to There Is a Hell, Believe Me, I've Seen It. There's a Heaven, Let's Keep it a Secret. Despite my 8 out of 10, I would probably even up this to closer to a 9 out of 10 upon a few more re-listens in coming times. This was an incredible album that just was consistent from top to bottom. The song Fuck featuring Josh Franceschi was one of the best metalcore songs of the era. It Never Ends, Crucify Me. Ali Sykes just goes all in on this one. He really delivers on a vocal front, and he even experiments a lot with his vocals, like on a song like Don't Go, where he goes into a kind of like screamo, Midwest emo kind of thing, reminding me of La Dispute. Next up, I don't know if you'd consider it its own album, or a deluxe album, or what you call it, but I listened to Edgar A. Twigs' Usexual Afterglow, an alternative version of the Usexual album with a whole new track list. This was a really good listen. I like a lot of the songs, like the one featuring Pink Pantheress, Wild and Alone. It had a lot of interesting sounds. The production wasn't as great as the original. Still, good album nonetheless. Next, I listened to Vector's Terminal Redux. Similar to Crimson, this is a really good progressive metal album, touching more into the technical thrash metal than the melodic death metal sound of that one. I found something new to love from each and every single song in unique ways. It didn't feel like every song blended into each other. It felt like each song was delivering its own new unique thing. There were songs that had with really incredible riffs, other songs that shine on the vocal front, others that shine on a technical front with good guitar solos, songs where the drums took the spotlight. It was all over the place in the best way possible, and any concept album I instantly fall in love with, especially metal concept albums. Like, come on, Gojira's From Mars to Sirius is one of my favorite albums of all time. I listened to Blood Incantation's Hidden History of the Human Race. This was a really good album. I feel like it droned on a tiny bit towards the end, but that droning on was welcomed as the sound delivered was still pretty good. The Giza Power Plant was my favorite song from it. I've always been a huge fan of how Blood Incantation touches on like a sci-fi kind of theme, and this album does it best. Next up, another controversial rating, actually 2 in a row. I listened to Miles Davis's Sketches of Spain. I really thought this album was very disjointed and kind of an iffy listen, to be honest, but maybe that's just me. Transylvanian Hunger, though, by Dark Throne. I'm not even going to try to sugarcoat it. I'm not a fan of black metal. I don't get it. I think it's kind of lazy. A lot of other music I don't particularly enjoy. I can kind of see the appeal. I just don't get it. I feel like it's poorly mixed. It's half done, and it ends up feeling like it's just a fraction of what could be had it been produced more finely. I'm not a fan of Nick Cave's music, so these are understandable, although I'm a big fan of his writing. Although these were just very boring listens. I'm not a fan of his voice, and again, not a big fan of the music. I could listen to him read poems for hours, though. He's one of the best writers in music history. Next up, we have Kyotos. Not sure if I'm saying that right, but Kyotos, All's Well That Ends Well. A lot of people are critiquing this band, I noticed, for the singer's voice being kind of a little higher pitched, a little rough around the edges, kind of reminiscent of Pierce the Veil. Although I thought that was a really unique thing, and it made me super drawn to this album. It felt like something you'd hear in a garage band, but that garage band being some kind of prodigy band. Every single song of this one ripped. Black Veil Brides, We Stitch These Wounds. I thought I was going to like this album more as a big fan of metalcore and as a person who loves their hit song Knives and Pens. But the rest of the album was kind of disjointed. It was poorly mixed. There was a few great songs that held it up, but that's all I could say about that one. I listened to Of Mice and Men for the first time with their self-titled album, which was a really incredible listen. Similar to Kyotos, it was super consistent from top to bottom. It had a lot of unique musical choices, and I really love the open chug breakdowns on this album. Next up, Chimera, The Impossibility of Reason. Now this is as good as groove metal gets. The song Power Trip from this album, you guys have to listen to this. I promise it'll be worth your time. Next up, Dear Agony by Breaking Benjamin. I thought this album was kind of iffy for the most part, although the good songs of the album really held it up, like the incredible I Will Not Bow or the title track. If you want some good 2000s dad rock, some good stuff from the later post-grunge era, this is it. Breaking Benjamin is one of the biggest shiners in that department. I listened to Bruno Fernandes, Those Who Throw Objects at the Crocodiles Will Be Asked to Retrieve Them. What a name. I thought this album was really cute. It had great vocal work. It just felt a little all over the place at points, but that's nothing that hindered it too much. I listened to Brian Eno's Taking Tiger Mountain. I'm a big Brian Eno fan, but this album just didn't call to me. I didn't really click with any of the songs, but maybe that's just me. Maybe I need to give it another chance in some time. Keeping up with Breaking Benjamin though, I listened to another one of their albums for the first time, We Are Not Alone. I like this album even more. I clicked with almost every single one of the songs. Every single melody on here was so catchy, got stuck in my head. So Cold, one of the best songs of the 2000s. What more can I say? Next up, I listened to Masakatsu Takagi's Kageyaki. This was an album that kind of just felt like vibes for me. It was a nice listen, but nothing I'd actually return to, really. I listened to Kate Bush's The Kick Inside. This was a really interesting debut album for one of the best pop singers of all time. The song from it, Wuthering Heights, is also one of the best songs of all time, which really held up the rest of it for me. Next up, I listened to a bunch of albums in the past few days. I've had a bunch of shifts where I've been able to get music in. So starting off, I listened to Ego Trip by John Michel and Anthony James. This album blew me away, probably the best album I've heard this entire month. Some of the best hip-hop of this decade, honestly. And it's probably going to end up in my top 10 albums of 2025. That video will be coming out soon. John Michel, please comment down below if I'm saying that name right or incorrectly, because I really need to know. It's spelled really weird without the A. So yeah, John Michel is one of my favorite rappers of recent times. The song Miss Me is an incredible feat in hip-hop with some of the best lyrical work of recent times, as well as an unmatched flow. And same with on this album, it touches on all that jazz rap production with Anthony James, I believe is the producer, as well as John Michel just going off with these crazy flows. Ego Trip's a really good album. It's got a lot of really good lyricism. I highly recommend you all check this one out if you are a fan of that kind of conscious hip-hop. Next up, I listened to Anna von Hauswolf's Iconoclasts. This was a pretty good album. I wasn't a fan of some of her recent music, but I really like this album. I clicked a lot with the vocal parts on this album, which was definitely the highlight of the album. The song with Ethel Cain, really loved that one, Aging Young Woman, as well as some of the longer cuts from this, like Struggle with a Beast at 8 minutes, or The Iconoclast with 11 minutes long. Although it had some weaker moments that kind of held it down a slight bit, like The Whole Woman with Iggy Pop, where the voices just didn't really clash at all for me. Next up, I listened to The Orchestra for Now's Plan 76. I actually listened to both Plan 75 again and 76 today to get ready for a Best EPs of 2025 video. This was a really good listen. I like how they expanded on a lot of the sounds of Plan 75 and they really honed it in on this album. They cut down a lot of the fat and they just made it pure good jazzy rock. Coming up to the end, we have Live, Laugh, Love by Earl Sweatshirt. This one, it's pretty highly praised by a lot of rap fans, but I'm just not a big fan of it. I feel like at this point, his voice is just very mundane. It all kind of just blends together and it feels kind of half done when I know he can do so much better, both on the production front as well as the lyrical front and definitely on the flowing. Next up, Lupe Fiasco's Samurai Deluxe with, a couple new songs. 5 new songs featuring Love Morch and Troy Tyler. This was an incredible listen. Again, one of the best hip-hop projects I've heard in 2025 already. I actually prefer this one to the original Samurai album because of a lot of the production choices, and the features on this really hold up Lupe's vocals. When I say that, I mean the features act as a good framework for Lupe Fiasco to truly just go off. And finally wrapping it off, we have Asian Glow with this monster of a title. It's a one song EP, 30 minutes long. It's split up into 2 songs on Spotify. I really enjoyed this one. It's some great post-rock stuff. It dives into a bunch of different phases as it goes through different instrumental passages, like these acoustic sections or these overbearing, have a nice life kind of sounds. And that's all for what I've listened to this month. I'm thinking about making this into a monthly video tradition, although I'm not sure yet. So let me know what you think about this. Subscribe for more music commentary like this, and let me know what you've been listening to recently. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.